Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast. We are your weekly beer review podcast. I am your host, Devin.
I'm your host, Martin.
And we are here to, surprise, surprise, review
3 beers.
3 beers.
Wow! Everyone is just falling about the place going,
it's crazy talk.
What?
Because it happened in October.
Yeah, in October, the Systembolaget had a release of like 1 million beers.
Or 34.
Or 34. Either 34 or 1 million. By many different Swedish breweries belonging to the independent Swedish breweries organization,
Yes.
Sveriges Oberoende Bryggerier. And all of them kind of had the same label, which was a lot of fun.
It really was, because I didn't realize this when I ordered the beers, and then I got them and I was like, I got like 6 beers, all have the same label on them.
Exactly.
Because I am not observant, and I wasn't even aware this was a thing that was happening, so I was quite surprised. And then I discovered that there were 34 different beers in the...
Exactly. And I bought a few, Stefan bought a few, he treated me to some, I treated him to others, and I kept buying more and more. So now we have 3 of these beers, and they're all quite similar styles. No, they're not. There are 2 of similar styles, and one is goes off the deep end. So, do we start with the first one?
Yeah, let's start with the first one. We've got to start somewhere.
So this is from the brewery called Beer Barons. And I don't think either of us have ever tried anything from Beer Barons.
I definitely have not had anything on the show, so...
I don't even know where they're from. But it is a pilsner. Beer Barons Pilsner Oberoende. There it is. So it's a German Pilsner. They're Sweden.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Does it say Sweden?
They just say Sweden.
Oh my gosh.
Are beer barons a contract brewery, like a phantom brewery?
Here, you can look on the label here. There's more information on the label.
Beer barons brewed in Skarpnäck. A couple of beer barons incorporated.
Where's Skarpnäck? Is it a suburb of Stockholm? Just outside of nowhere? Maybe? The other place?
Skarpnäck is just outside of Stockholm, yes.
No, that's not a surprise. That's kind of what I assumed. It's either outside of Göteborg or outside of Stockholm. So there's no other places it's just outside of.
No. So it is a Pilsner, 4.7% ABV.
Yeah.
And internet says Hallertau Tradition and Nelson Sauvin. It's quite see-through.
Yeah, actually, it looks like
quite
according to the
beautiful.
style. It looks really, really nice. It looks very clean, very crisp. It smells pretty good. I mean,
It smells acceptable. I would want it to be more crispy. Just a tiny bit of dishcloth in it.
yeah. Well, let's see what happens.
Let's see. Cheers. This kind of, it's not lemon, but lemony sour.
Yeah, there's a
product.
citrusy kind of note to it.
That could be hop related. It is only 4.7% ABV, but it is very mild in its mouthfeel. We've had pilsners that were way more crispy and effervescent and kind of tickled your taste buds a little. So it's a little bit flat.
You see, this is Nelson Sauvin was in this?
It said Hallertau Tradition and Nelson Sauvin. Yes.
Okay, so that's the hops?
Yeah, I would guess that Nelson Sauvin is the hops and Hallertau Tradition is the malts.
Okay.
Is Hallertau a hop? It probably is.
It's interesting. I think it's
They do both hops.
okay. It's I guess I was going to guess actually more of an IPL.
Yeah.
I do get more of a hoppiness to this than I would off a normal, which was a Pilsner, right? Pilsner. but they're not like the bright, shiny hops. They're more of the kind of murkier style hops. So I think if this had like a citra or even like Idaho 7 or something that was a little brighter in its flavor profile, it would have been more of a shiny kind of thing you would have more easily identified. Whereas this is more of a lot of background notes in this that kind of give it a little more texture and a little more interesting flavor profile than I was expecting.
Yeah. I can give this maximum 3.
I'm going to give it like a 3.5. I think it's very drinkable, and I think the hop profile actually is quite nice.
I'm a bit disappointed in the like dishclothy character. So next beer is BarlinBeer. They're from Björke, Västra Götalands län. So it's kind of western Sweden.
All right.
It is a hazy IPA, 7.2% ABV, and it's simcoe and citra hops.
Wow, this smells like it has a ton of milk sugar on it. It has this powdered milk. I don't know, smell on it like you get when they're trying, like when a brewery's trying to make it a little bit sweeter so that it can kind of cover some faults in it.
They're trying really hard.
Without saying it has milk sugar in it, smells exactly like milk sugar.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, that's a shame. The beer itself actually is pretty good. I think the hop profile is really nice. But there is some kind of milk sugar or something in there because there's a bit of sweetness that's not coming from the malt bill.
Agreed. But I do like the flavor more than the aroma. Yeah,
the flavor is much better than the aroma. I think this is actually really quite nice. I hope they actually do a rebrew on this and put it out again because I think it's a pretty good beer. I have not had a lot from
BarlinBeer.
Barlinder, is it? BarlinBeer?
BarlinBeer. You see the B is...
Oh, the B and then the 2 E's are stretched across the bottom.
Yeah, the B is multi-purpose B.
I got that.
It's a very special logo. BarlinBeer.
Yeah.
I've had multiple beers, but they never really hit the high notes.
I think this is still hitting pretty good. I think this is an easy 3.75.
It has a surprisingly high average. It has a 3.87 average.
Yeah.
So your 3.75 is straight on the money.
I mean, it's super drinkable.
I was going for a
really good job with this one. Good job with this one. Yeah.
I was going for a 3.5, but I think I've been convinced. It's closer to 3.75.
I think if they hadn't done that, it's got to be milk sugars in there. They're just not saying it because
it would be a 4 without it, right?
It could be.
The hops.
It's just that it's just like it's that weird, I don't know, that weird smell on the front end that just really throws it off.
What did they do?
I know. And then lastly we have, it is the Zwickel Pils by Örebro.
From Örebro. Örebro Zwickel Pils. So Zwickel is a fun style. We had a previous episode where I had been in Vienna. In Austria, and I had tried a lot of Zwickel.
Yes.
So when I saw Zwickel, that's another purchase. Ding, tick.
And this comes in at 5% ABV.
Oh, it doesn't smell very good.
Honestly, I had to look at the style because when I smelled this, I thought
it smells like fart.
Is this a Berliner Weiss or something?
It smells like farts.
It has a very sulfury smell to it.
Ooh.
But at first I thought it was maybe a Berliner Weiss because it has
eggs.
This
is not a Zwickel.
It has a weird smell to it that almost reminded me of like the sour, almost salty Goza kind of smell. So that's why I was like, I thought the Pilsner and the Zwickel were kind of the similar beers, but this smells like I don't know what.
Why?
Let's
try it.
Cheers. Well, okay, so the brewing looks really good. It's a very clean looking beer. There's a good carbonation on this, but Martin will give us our first taste.
There's something wrong with it. But this isn't a Zwickel. It has this kind of sulfury side note. It doesn't go into sour. But it goes into kind of weird semi-acidity. Sulfur, like foot odor.
Yeah, this isn't drinkable. This isn't like the quashable zwickel style. That you just be like, I just want to pound this all day long. This is, yeah, it's like a weird, bitter, sulfury aftertaste that throws off the balance of the whole beer. So I don't know what...
I've had a lot of beers from Örebro that I thought were very pleasant.
Yeah.
A lot of them got a 3.75, some got a 4. But this one is there's something wrong.
Yeah, this is a very bad example of a zwickel beer.
If I didn't earlier this year have like a 50 zwickels, I wouldn't know that this is completely off style. I mean, I would go, maybe this is what a zwickel tastes like. I don't know. No.
So since you've had 50 earlier this year, what would you say is a zwickel style? Like if you're going to what would you expect when you try one?
But a zwickel is just a regionally crispy, clean Helles or so there are zwickel. There's I forget the other. There's like 4 or 5 different styles. Landbeer is another one that's also more regional in its start. They're really crisp, clean lagers. Most of them have regional starts, and when you get into the actual beer rating categories, they're extremely similar. So it's kind of similar, some hops and malt bills that define it, but it's very regional. So Zwickel is this Austrian clean, crushable lager. No signs of sulfur, no signs of rotten eggs, no signs of foot. This one misses the mark.
Yeah, I'm not quite as... I think you're maybe a little more flavonoid prone to those kind of things that I am.
Keller beer is the one that's extremely close to Zwickel.
Yeah, there's like 3 names for this that are basically the exact same beer. So it's Keller, Zwickel, and Helles, I think, is kind of the same thing.
The original category on Rate Beer was Zwickel, Keller beer, Landbeer. Those were the 3. And Helles was a clearer, less flavorful version. Okay. Less flavor in the Helles.
And a lower ABV as well, wasn't it?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But that often goes hand in hand, flavor and ABV.
This just tastes off. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm going to give this a 2.5.
Yeah, 2.
2
for me.
No, that's fair enough.
But I am offended that Wikipedia, when you kind of go into Zwickel, it redirects you to Keller beer.
Oh,
shots fired. But it has several warnings of citations and authenticity. Zwickel beer is now a sub paragraph of the Keller beer page. I think many people are dissatisfied with this.
It's probably a lot of national pride and regional pride for those things.
Yes.
So this is a fun experiment. We've tried many of these beers. There's been some real highs. There's been some real lows. There's been a lot of something in between.
Yep.
I hope that we see this again sometime soon with another round of independent brewers showing their strength in numbers. I think this is a really nice effort. I applaud them for doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice, fun experiment.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this organization, the Independent Swedish Brewers, actually got more members, more breweries that joined them after this. Let's call it the publicity stunt, but a good one at that. Because
it wasn't like it was just these breweries that are not as well known. It was also like Stibbergets put out something.
Yep. They put out a Dunkel, which is very fun.
Yeah.
Narke put out the Rausch beer, Poppels. It's well-known names.
It was some of the better name, breweries inside of Sweden that were joining this. So that's what really excited me about this. Is it wasn't just here's a collective of third-tier breweries you've never heard of and will never hear of again after this moment. It was really the highs and the lows all putting out something. So that's what really excited me about this. Well, all right, we can wrap this up here at this point. You can find us online at What's on Tap Podcast, Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, wherever you find podcasts, you'll find What's on Tap. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.